gonna have a look at another quick game by Anand in this tournament. He has white against Demchenko. And Anand opens with e4. And we have the Sicilian. Knight f3, d6. The knight variation. If black goes a6, but he goes knight c6. Which is the classical variation. We see bishop g5 by Anand. e6, queen d2, and now a6. This is all stock standard play by both sides. Anand castles queenside, bishop to d7, and f4. So this is a very aggressive setup by white, of course, but black is also very solid. He plays bishop e7, while passive, again, this is very sturdy and difficult to dislodge. Knight f3, b5 by black, and now Anand took on f6, and we have g takes f6. So black takes on this central structure here, and he has the bishop pair, but white will try to weaken it. We'll see king b1, b4, knight d2, and after h5 we have this typical break f5. And black is best advised not to take the pawn on f5. This would severely weaken the structure. We already have very weak pawns here, and this would critically make the d5 square very bad, and the light squares. So this is not an option. So e5 was played, and this also weakens the d5 square, but leaves black a little more solid in the center. And though his king is stuck here, his structure around it is quite solid. So these positions are generally considered slightly better for white, but they're also quite solid for black and difficult to break down. We have g4 by Anand. So eventually make a pass pawn on the h file, but that's a long way from being relevant. Queen f2, probing the knight on f3, but simply queen d3, defending it. And now knight d8. Oh, you took on g4 first, and now knight d8, excuse me. So this perhaps has some ideas of kicking the queen. It opens for the bishop. But now rook g2, kicking the queen back to where it came from. Queen c5, and knight to g3. From g3, the destination is eventually h5, but to do that, white will need to do some maneuvering to cover the square. a5 by black, starting to advance on the queen side. But now knight d2 by Anand. Knight b7, trying to improve this knight. The destination for this knight is c5 eventually. Queen f3. This protects h5 and prepares the move we talked about. Knight to h5. a4 by black. And now bishop c4. Taking the chance to improve the bishop now that this square is available. Rook c8, and to attend to this vulnerable pawn here, Anand played rook c1. This frees the bishop from any duties of covering the c file. Bishop to f8, trying to improve this bishop perhaps to h6, but now knight h5, and the bishop leaving f8 leaves the square vulnerable, so black either has to go back to e7 or cover it with a pawn. He elected to cover it, with the king, and he elected to cover it with the king. But now he gets into some problems. Queen g4. What's the threat here? If we make a blank move, let's try a3. We can take on f6. And the point is that king takes f6, queen g5 is mate. So that partly explains black's next move. Demchenko played bishop h6, and this covers g5, so there's no more knight takes f6 and queen g5 mate. But unfortunately this is a blunder, because now knight takes f6 is still on the cards, and it's just queen h4 now. no square for the king. You can only interpose the bishop on g5, and the queen arrives on g5 eventually with the same mate as before. Demchenko tried bishop takes d2, but to no avail as knight d5 check right on the board. And after king g8, queen g8 with checkmate on the next move. Demchenko could have prolonged the game a little bit with king d8 instead of king e8, but the battle is over. Anand has won this game. So another quick win by Anand, who seems to be in solid form, and we'll see what happens for him in this tournament.